welcome to the first Rainboww Rach virtual postpartum support group. For those of you that don't know, I usually host this in person in Boulder at Boulder Birth and Holistic Health, formerly known as the Birth Center. But the room was in use today. They're right there. It's on the top. I have my kiddo with me. He should be drawing, but I don't know if that's how that's gonna go, so we'll see. Let me just get my camera set up here. Okay. Try not to flash. So I host this every Friday from 11, usually from 11 to 12:30, just kind of depending. And let me grab one thing. This does this better. It's really just a space. Like I was the first of my friends and family to go through this journey of pregnancy, postpartum, and rebirth and birth and all of that. And I didn't really have any support like to lean on. I mean, I had like familial support. My mother-in-law played a huge role. And I want to give her that credit. Nice job. Can I see? Dude, nice. It looks amazing. And but as far as like having this like community of people who are going through the same thing and who get it and who are also exhausted and sleep deprived and all of that, yeah, I didn't really have that. So this is like kind of my way of providing to other people I didn't have. And what I wanted to first of all, if you are here, I just want to say, who draw that? I don't know. But yeah, if you are here, I just want to say for showing up for yourself. I know it's not easy, as you can see with my leg here. I don't know, buddy, it's a big truck. It's hard to make time for yourself, but it is possible. And I feel like just knowing that, like, you'll wait for this truck. Nico, it's a big old truck. Do the hair down. It's hard. There's a learning curve, right? Just like with parenting, you know, there's a learning curve with postpartum and with healing after birth. And it doesn't matter if you gave birth a year ago or 5 years ago, like you're still postpartum. We're postpartum forever. Hey, do you want to come cuddle? You want to go in the garage? Okay, wait, come here. Can I hold you? Can I hold you?
I like seafood.
Because once it's done, you know, parenting babies, we're parenting toddlers, and then parenting kids, and then, you know, high schoolers, middle schoolers, and it never ends. So I think I want to start off with one of the biggest, don't put that in your mouth. One of the biggest things that has really served me comes to body stuff. So really just hey, use your markers, please. Okay, that's good. That's good. It's gonna hurt your eyes if you get in your eyes. Let me see. No. Okay, you can put it right here, Mira.
Yeah.
Right there. Perfect. Okay, all done. All done. Thank you.
I take some.
You have some what?
This.
No, because it's tea. It's caffeine. You can have water. You want water?
No.
Here, water. Not losing your shit. And it's okay. Like, hang on. Oh my God. Shit show. This is parenting. Full on shit show. I hope this is making a lot of you like feel seen. But yeah, let me close out what I wanted to say on the body thing. So it took you a year, basically 40 weeks is 10 months, that's basically a year, to grow a whole human in your body. All right. Let's see, that's gonna bug me if it keeps interrupting me like that. Okay. Let's see if this location will work. Now in my house. Okay. Can you close the door? Thank you. Okay. How are we gonna do this? Okay. Perfect. Yeah, there's already enough pressure in life, like to be perfect mom and all of this. Like, we don't also need to have this pressure on ourselves to like have a great like, you need that's good. For me, what I had to do, there's so much talk about lower body at any size, and that's not the easiest. Like, I think we have to accept what our look like and be like, okay, and I accept this. I don't really necessarily love it, but I do accept it. He's gonna show us the bear. And I did was, oh my God, okay. New location. What's up? You need another bottle?
Well, I don't.
Okay. So yeah, I had to just cover up my mirror, and I covered it up, and then I wrote like little affirmations like, you're doing a great job, you're doing better than you think you are. Trying to think what else. I have a picture of it, but basically I just needed to cover up my body for a little bit because I was just unable to be kind, and I wasn't able to like accept my body. And fuck. Sorry, this is so chaotic, y'all. mom life. I don't have this today, so. But you're in a space where you can accept your body all the time. So, most ideal situation, but if that is what stopping you, then do it. Okay, let's see. Okay, hey. What the fuck is that shit? All right. Here. Okay, the other thing that I said to a friend who's postpartum today, or I guess the other day, is like, you're gonna have to either hire help for the house chores, housework, all of that, or you're gonna need to lower your expectations of what your home is gonna look like. And just, again, like we accept our body, just accepting this season of life. Yeah, like if you're trying to make your home perfect with a baby, then that means that when the baby's napping, your focus is gonna be on chores and like cleaning, and it's not gonna be on, what do I need today? Like for me, I needed to stretch every day, breastfeeding and chest feeding, body feeding, whatever. You're like hunched over all the time. In pregnancy, it's so hard on your body, and your body needs time to heal after. Like, I took so many baths postpartum. I still take baths all the time, but I really tried to take a bath like every single day, and then I would even take like a shower at night, and that just helps. I know, I got you. Whew. Yeah, that just helps like with the bleeding. Okay. But that just helps with, yeah, the bleeding, and literally just your healing. Water is such a healing agent. Also, you're bleeding after birth. It's like the period basically, and it's like a 6 week to 2 month, 3 month period. So it just really helped. And then also with like engorgement, if if you're feeling engorged, which is when your milk comes in and it is like rocks on your boobs and it hurts. I used to get in the bath and fill it up enough that my boobs could just float and I could like squeeze out the excess milk and just like relieve my boobs. And that was like a game changer for me. Um, yeah, and this, I want to talk about the cleaning thing more. But, here, let's see. Let's see if I can go in this other room so I can sit down. I think accepting that kids are messy is going to lead to a less stressful experience with kids. If you want your home post kids to look like it did pre kids, you're setting yourself up for failure. You're setting yourself up for disappointment. Your house is not going to be the same. It's not going to be the same quiet that you're used to having. Um, it's just going to be different. So I think that accepting that early on is like the best thing that we can do. And let's talk about sex postpartum too. I know that that is, you have like a 6-week postpartum appointment and you might get cleared, which I don't know. Everyone's different. Everyone has a different sex drive. Everyone has different things. But the first time, I think we waited like exactly 6 weeks to have sex. And then the first time I'd like given birth. And that felt fine, but it was also like I bled after. Just like, if you have sex on like the last few days of your period, it can kind of like bring out more blood. That's how it was for me. And I was like, oh, I'm not all the way healed. And then the second time around, I think we waited like closer to 2 months. And sex was like so different for me. And I think part of the reason was that I was on an antidepressant, which I've heard two things. Either it can lower your sex drive or it can make it harder to have an orgasm. And I experienced the latter, like having it be a little bit harder to orgasm. So my partner and I both, my husband and I both had to figure out like my new body and like what kind of my new buttons are, like what is going to turn me on. If you're used to like having, boob play in sex, that's not really a thing when you are breastfeeding. That was something for me to get used to, like just milk squirting out when you're like in the middle of sex. Um, yeah. And I know some people are like scared to talk about sex or like, I don't know, get embarrassed by it. I don't. I'm very open with like my family and my siblings and my friends. And so, yeah, I'll just talk about it because I know not everyone's comfy talking about it. But even like finding your windows for sex, I think you really have to sit down with your partner if you have one, and just figure out like, hey, where does this fall? Like, where does sex fall on the list of needs for us? And for me, it's like number 6, number 7, maybe. And hi guys. So yeah, that it falls like lower down the list. It used to be like in my top 3 before kids, but then kids happen and it's not as high. For my husband, it's still in his top 3. And now, almost 3 years postpartum, my littlest is going to be 3 in October, and it's like the end of August right now. I'm like we're finally able to like get to once or twice a week, whereas that was not the case. It was like maybe once a month, once every 6 weeks, when our youngest was younger. And you really have to figure out like your values on your individual values, your values as a family, and prioritize those things. So like for us, it's like quality time, like it's like Nico, quality time. I like doing yoga. My husband likes doing fishing. And so like having the things that we do prioritize and then deprioritizing everything else. If you can afford childcare, doubling down on that. If you know, and a big thing is like asking for help. Like a lot of us struggle with asking for help, and I think realizing like, oh, this is like a trauma response, big T or little T trauma, but you've got to ask for help. And people don't, we like to assume that people, if they love us, they know exactly how to help us, especially if we're like an empathetic person. And someone asked, did that affect your relationship initially? No, because I have an awesome husband. And you just find different, like, intimacy is just different. Like, you just find different ways to be intimate, whether it's like, you know, obviously cuddling more and like being really vulnerable with each other and like saying, you know, hey, I'm having a really hard time with this. Like, I would love your help in this way or this way. I'm trying to think what else. Really like understanding your spouse's like love language and trying to meet those love languages of theirs. Like if it's quality time, like making time after the kids go to bed to like have a little date, even if it's 10 minutes at home, even if it's 15 minutes over like grilled cheese at the kitchen table, like just making those times to really connect with each other and talk to each other. Honesty and vulnerability are huge ways that you can still be intimate. Kissing even, or like back rubs, and like just, especially if you are the partner of someone who is the birther, taking care of their body, like helping them, like, you know, rubbing their feet, massaging them, giving them those words of affirmation that like they're doing a great job. And I know too, like as like a husband or as a non-birthing partner, it can feel like, oh well, I don't have boobs, like I'm not able to feed this baby, like I'm really no help, like I'm not cuddling with the baby just wants mom. And I just want to stress the importance that like the dad, um yeah, and telling them how much you appreciate, that's great. um what was I saying? Just dads do play such an important role, and I know that it can feel like you're not doing much, but you can like be taking care of the home while mom is helping with baby. You can make sure when mom is breastfeeding or chest feeding, you're bringing water, you're having a snack for them. Because whenever you are chest feeding, you instantly are losing like 500 calories. You get instantly thirsty because that's taking all of the water that you've drank from your body. So that's a really important aspect for the non-birthing partners, to be supporting the birther, because they're ultimately the ones with the baby most of the time. And so you've got to, yeah, know your role in that way and understand that like you're not pushed to the side, you just have a different role, especially if you're used to having, you know, your wife all to yourself. It's a huge life change. And I think being really honest with your spouse of like anything that comes up that you're feeling is so crucial and vital. Advice for husbands with two under two, please. God, dude. I don't know. Wear a condom. Because I don't know. I think like if you're already feeling overwhelmed, like you guys really got to double down on birth control. And I personally don't take birth control, and we just do condoms like my like most fertile week or whatever. So definitely don't get her pregnant again. Okay, babies require most of mom's attention. Dads need to understand and support moms, but they too can feel a bit of loneliness at times. How do husbands grow and become better and cope? You could find a therapist. I know through my birth center, I like got hooked up with a therapist postpartum who like specializes in postpartum, and that was really helpful to me because sometimes with mom doing so much and the baby does require specifically the mom's attention, she might not be able to like be there for you as you maybe wish she was. And so having a therapist who you can vent to and talk to, if your parents are still around, talking to them. And it really requires vulnerability and like being honest with your support system. You need to know like who are the 5 or like maybe 3 people in your life who you know is your support, and how can you reach out to them and ask them for help whenever you're needing it, when you're feeling lonely. um, for me, I just got a which I don't know if this will even apply, but I'm just gonna say it because it's coming up. But one of the things for me for being not lonely was getting a part-time job. So but that's more like for the person that's staying at home and like needs to get out of the house. um, but even just like if you do miss your wife, you can just like do a subtle like, you know, hand on their shoulder, hand on their leg, not a sexual touch. It's just like, hey, like I miss you. Like, do you want to like try to have a date? And like I could maybe have a sitter come over, or my mother-in-law come over, my parents come over. And I'd really like love to take you on a date and like get to know you again and like talk with you and just have quality time with you. I think that would be huge. But I do think that men, and I have a twin brother, so I've grown up with knowing, being very, very aware of this discrepancy between men and women. And I know that men, at least in American society, really all over the world, honestly, are taught like, you don't cry, you're not vulnerable, like you keep that shit in and move on with your day. And I just want to encourage you to like rewire that thought in your brain. Crying is actually a strength, because being vulnerable and showing people your emotions is a huge strength. It's very hard. And crying in general is a mechanism. If you don't know me, I have a background in science, and I was a cannabis scientist and genetics, but crying is something that has evolved in humans to release emotion. So if you are stuffing down crying, that's not really going to serve you. And like I want to say, men get postpartum depression too, which is like where the therapist could help come in and help, yeah, just with that transition. And I think kind of grieving the life that you had before kids. And I see that crocodile is an essential, because your life is different, but it's not going to be like this all the time. Remembering that there are seasons and remembering that you're moving through different things is huge. So remembering that you're like, not every season is going to last for forever either. Like this season of, 2 under 2 for Drizzy, who asked this question. This is a phase and it's going to pass. And I think what's really important, especially when you have 2 under 2, is like finding those times for not only yourself, but also for your spouse, to like be intimate and be together, not just sex, but like intimacy and talking. Yeah, I'm right here. Okay. And keep the questions coming, guys. I love answering questions. I feel like I'm just like running a train here that like off the rails if I don't have somewhere to take these thoughts. But yeah, I think the recognizing it's a season is huge. Because even now, like I'm in a season where like I am starting to be able to work with my kids around, my little one around, but it's still like getting interrupted. And instead of me being like, oh, I'm so annoyed, like I just want to be able to work and not be interrupted. Recognizing this is a season and it's gonna pass. It's gonna pass really quickly from what I hear from other people. And just being really like kind to yourself. We've got to be better as a society at being kind to ourselves, at being gentle with ourselves, not pushing ourselves to like hit our max and like have a perfectly clean house and eat super healthy every day of the week. Like sometimes you're gonna need to order pizza or McDonald's, and that's fucking fine. Sometimes you're gonna need to give your kids screen time so that you can have a minute to breathe, and that's okay. Like, you're not a bad parent if you need a break from it. And I think that's such a misconception, like, especially I see online just how much um, there's like a lot of shaming, like, well, if you don't want kids, well, you wanted kids, and so, like, stop complaining about them, basically. That's like an argument I see all the time, and it's like, you can still love being a parent, and you're allowed to, like, find it hard and, like, want to complain about it sometimes. It doesn't make you a bad parent. It makes you human. It makes you normal. And the more that we can be honest and, like, open with other people about what we're going through and what we're experiencing, I just think the better. And there are a lot of people who are choosing to be child free now. Like, it's 2024, and that's, like, very common. And I think it's partially because we are being more honest about the experience of parenthood, and people are noticing, like, wow, I really don't think it seems so full on. Like, I really just want to opt out of that and be really selfish. And that's cool too. Um, yeah, not judging other people for decisions that they want to make. Like, it's their life, they're going to make their decisions. So, all right, guys. I'm getting sleepy. My little one I gotta put him to bed. So I want to wrap this up, but I'm trying to think I'm gonna wrap it up with, hey, hi, you're doing a great job. I want all of us to just, like, take a second and be like, wow, I'm kicking ass. Because a lot of the times we're waiting on someone else to affirm us or, like, validate us, and really we just need to give that to ourselves. So, for Drizzy, you have 2 under 2. You're so welcome. I don't know. You want to look in the kitchen? 2 under 2 is so hard. It's so hard. My friend is pregnant with twins right now, and she has 3 babies. Like, that is so hard. Recognizing, like, holy shit, this is so full on, and, like, I am doing so much better than I think, is so important to just keep our mental health grounded and kind of knowing what's important. I don't know. Is it in there? Is it in there? Do you need to go potty? I don't know. You wanna look to find it? Yeah, you're doing much better than you think you are. And I think that in a society too that, like, really values productivity, it can be really hard to see our value in these times too, because we don't feel like we're being productive in this, like, normal sense of the word. But raising children is one of the most productive things you can do. So I think just remembering that, and it's like, even if you didn't get to the load of laundry, even if you didn't get to, finish those meeting notes that you wanted to get wrapped up for your boss, even if you didn't get started on the project that you wanted to, like, going with the flow is so essential in parenthood, because every day is unpredictable, kids are unpredictable, and things come up. And so you've got to, like, work with your brain to, your brain's going to lie to yourself and be like, you're not doing enough, you're not doing enough, you're not doing enough. You are doing enough. You're raising kids, you're feeding them, you're keeping them alive. Like, that is such important and intentional work, and we've got to give ourselves credit. So I hope that you're giving yourselves a pat on the back today. Thank you for being here. If you did show up live, I appreciate you. Thank you for your questions, and keep kicking ass, parents. You're seriously doing so much better than you know.